Good morning and welcome to day number 2 of the Salish Sea Slam here in Vancouver, Richmond to be exact. We are here for game 1 of day number 2. My name is Piggy Fatness and I am with
G.I. Jones. How you doing?
G.I. Jones. We are looking forward to getting started here as we feature game number 1. This an elimination game to determine who will face off against the Philadelphia Hooligans in the first qualifier. A little later this afternoon, we will be watching the action between the Montreal Royals, who I understand you're familiar with.
Yes, being a Montrealer myself, yep, I have followed them for quite a bit.
Then I am glad you were here. I myself familiar with Austin Anarchy,
well,
and
figure.
So I guess maybe that's why we're here.
Maybe that's why we're paired up on this call. That's awesome.
So I'm looking forward to watching the action and calling it with you. Let's take a moment to run through the rosters for these two teams. If you take us through Montreal, and then I'll take us through Austin.
Notice a slight difference in the rosters. A little more people on the Austin list, but that's okay. Montreal can handle this. Starting with number 101, Jumpercut. Number 247, Saturday. 300, White Shark. 345, PETA. 42, Luke Ness Monster. Number 5, Red. Number 50, the Captain Buddy Ollie. 53, Afraid Austere. 71, The Rev. 7804, Viking Size. 8, Marcus, and 84, the coach, Paternostro.
For Austin Anarchy, it is 1587, Florida Freeman. 22 is Antrax. 221 is Bruce Payne III. 23 is Sonic Boom. 3, Wombo Combo. 303, El Nino. 305, Sharknado. Number 49 is Revelation. 5, Tautomatic. 51, Naked Alien. 5150, Speedyrella. 6010, Kojo Ryzen. 818, Vicious. And 88, Danny B.
Forgot to mention that on the bench for Montreal, Small Fry is assisting with handing out stars and covers.
And Coach Spank is on the bench along with the rest of the Austin Anarchy team. Let's try that again. Austin Anarchy team.
There you go. She has a little cup in her hand. I don't know if you've seen the cup and what's written on it.
I have. Your eyesight is better than mine.
Spank's going to bring it over, and you can take a read at it. It is a cup of Denver's tears.
Yes, it is.
I think they're aspiring.
Yes, well.
It was anonymous.
Yes, okay.
Of course, Spank would never do anything.
We will support Spanks in that. So.
Thank you, Spank. And yeah, I noticed that this morning. I thought it was quite the cute little Sunday morning drink.
Indeed. So moments from the first whistle of this first bout of what is history-making roller derby, day 2 of the very first North American qualifier for the Men's Roller Derby Association Championships.
Pretty exciting to be here. It's pretty fun. Of course, it's Sunday morning. It's slow. People are still waking up. This will be a perfect wake-up bout for everybody, and then the crowds will come in drones, I'm sure.
Indeed. And want to welcome those who are watching us online on YouTube. Thank you for joining us this morning. It is Austin Anarchy in white jerseys. The red jerseys are Montreal. Want to do a special shout-out to friends in Austin, Texas. I'm a Texas boy, as you know, Jonesy.
That's right.
But we are here to call it down the middle. But a quick hello to all of our friends in Austin, Texas, and the surrounding area for their support this morning.
At the same time, I'm going to go with a little Franco. Bonjour Montréal et tout le monde qui écoute de Montréal. Bienvenue à notre match ce matin de Montréal contre Austin, ici à Vancouver.
Such a show-off, Jonesy.
There you go. Hey, you might as well make them, you know.
Exactly.
Welcome. That's the only Franco you're going to get out of me because, of course, we're not French bilingual, each of us. So,
but we are underway. So Sharknado with the star for Austin Anarchy. And there it is. Lead jammer goes to Anarchy to start us off.
Viking Size yesterday had good success with getting lead. That is not carried on to this morning yet. He can jump the line and go right down the straightaway and stay inbounds. It's incredible to watch him go.
Very good acceleration, as you can see right there by Viking Size, so we'll keep an eye on that. And Montreal, to get to this point, Jonesy, you were witness to a, shall we say, an endurance.
It was a rough and tumble game last night.
It really was.
Montreal and Denver. At one point, I was in the middle during an official review, and the head ref was like, you guys got to stop using your heads. People were getting hit with their heads. People were running into other people's heads. We had Saturday that got a cut to his head. At one point, there was a blood check on all the players because of how dirty it got.
It's about how we play this game and its passion. So 101 right now, Jumpercut is your lead jammer for Montreal, facing off against El Nino, who has cleared the pack about a half-track distance behind Jumpercut.
Jumpercat yesterday picking up one of those penalties that you never want to pick up. He popped out his mouth guard to catch his breath while jamming and ended up with a illegal procedure penalty. And in the last jams of the game, which was critical to points, it was very upsetting. He was very frustrated with himself.
Austin Anarchy here by way of a 3-point loss yesterday morning. But again, still alive in this bracket. And so we will see how this plays out for them. Austin Anarchy is fielding Antrax as their jammer.
Luke Nismonster out there for Montreal.
Two blockers apiece in the penalty box at this point. And Antrax is out first, lead jammer for Anarchy.
And Antrax making easy work of the pack. Saturday trying to slow him down. Doesn't. That's a penalty instead, so Antrax threw for some points.
Antrax was a nice combination of speed and strength is how he jams. And looking for the outside pass. There it is. Putting up another 5 points for Anarchy.
A little tap from his friend to keep him in bounds. Kind of hooked him and then threw him inwards. Lukeness is just slow this morning. He's not getting really too quick on his feet. This might be a wake-up jam for him, and we'll see if he performs better on the next ones. Almost out, but gets knocked to the outside and recycled.
Really bogged down there by the defensive work of Austin Anarchy. Montreal doing their best to support him. But again, this has not been a jam that Montreal will want to recall later.
Currently
15
looking
points
at
for
the
Austin.
track, you can see the Montreal blockers were all spread apart. You're not going to do much stopping if you're not all in one group.
Well, speaking
like
of
they are
stopping,
now.
the Rev just put a stop to Antrax's progress and now getting some support in the form of two other blockers. Kojo Rising in the mix trying to create some more space, but that jam comes to a close after an additional 2 points have gone up on the board. That is a 17-point jam for Austin Anarchy here in the early going.
And that is jam 3 done, and they're starting to spread early.
Right.
So
well,
Montreal reacts to that.
Yeah, and that's the thing we've been seeing in some of these games this week is the sort of ebb and flow, and so Montreal still a lot to show, I'm sure.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. The game that, of course, Anarchy lost yesterday they were ahead at the half, and then that 3-point difference at the end.
Sharknado jamming for Anarchy. Viking Size picks up a penalty. It is a track cut. So now.
So does
Sharknado. I guess they wanted to visit together for just a moment.
And they are off. So that's going to make for a 2-minute jam, of course.
And
that's we're only at a minute 40.
All right with me.
Left. Sorry. And so back to the track. There goes for a full jam. And Viking pushes his way out of the pack and will be out first. Of course, no lead in this jam. And Sharknado stuck at the back with that strong Montreal wall. That has woken up. And that's Paternostro, Red, White Shark.
Florida Freeman and Kojo Rising in to help out with that wall. And so now both of these jammers in scoring position. Viking Size strikes first with 4 for Montreal.
I was going to make a little shark joke there as White Shark and Sharknado are both out there, but of course then White Shark decided to come to the penalty box instead of staying on the track. Sharknado through the pack will pick up 4 points. Same goes for Viking Size.
Pacing one another with a slight 4-point advantage. Viking Size 8-4 is the jam so far. We keep going. Sharknado looking for a pass on the outside, and he's through. Picks up 4 additional points for Anarchy.
Viking Size getting pinballed around a bit. Red trying to help him out. Now Viking into the pack 4. Anarchy blockers locking him down. Beautiful work by Todd-O-Matic of locking him down and then popping him out with his hip.
Doing the same right now is Montreal with a wall of 3, forcing back Sharknado.
Penalties going out. That's a naked alien going to go down. Red also into the penalty box.
We're almost seeing equal action on each side with all of these little things occurring. Viking Rise just cleared for another 4 points to bring the Montreal total to 12.
And another pass, which will put another 4 up there. So there's where the difference is right now, is that Montreal does have the advantage point size in this jam, a 16-8 jam. They doubled the points of Austin.
You're familiar with the Montreal team, and right now Viking Size with that that last pass to get to the 16 points really kind of came out of nowhere. We had just said he got 12, and he had made his way already around the pack so quickly.
Walked right past that on the apex, and not to discredit Austin, they added another 3 on the end of that last one, so it wasn't a double point jam, but it was a win for Montreal in that last jam. On the line, Jumper Cut versus.
That is Sonic Boom from Austin Anarchy.
And Jumper Cut out of the pack. There we go. It looks like the Montreal Jammers might have gotten their coffee break during the first 3 jams.
Yeah, he powered right through that. That's absolutely. Right. Impressive work by Jumper Cut.
Boom is leaving a Sonic Boom in his trail with that speed. Oh, my goodness. Going around the apex to try to catch it. Looked like a 0-point jam, waiting for Jumper Cut's points to go up. Obviously, if there's a discussion, there may be one, at least.
I see one.
There you go.
Yep, 1 point is the call. 1-0 jam. 21 for the Montreal Mont Royals and Austin Anarchy at 32.
And that is Lukeness Monster out there with perhaps Il Nino, if I know my Austin Jammers.
It is Il Nino who is there on the inside portion of the pack, moving back to the right. Strong 3-wall there by Montreal.
Yeah, Il's just trying to work his way through as that triangle switch. Oh, look at that. Oh, he got a blocking out of play penalty because he stepped out to push into the Rev, and therefore he's gone to the penalty box. He's going to sit down with the Rev, who he as well is in the box.
A little bit of an early note here is the frequent blocker penalties that are hitting Montreal. We'll see how that plays out in the next few minutes.
And Lukeness has removed the star to pass it off, not realizing that he had, I think, the power jam. And, well, he still has the power jam, but there is no chance of lead at all in this jam.
And a cutting penalty now sending number 42, Lukeness Monster, to the penalty box, as PETA is the jammer note for Montreal.
Okay, so he no longer had the star in his hand when he got that penalty. That's good. We've had a star pass. PETA is now your scoring jammer for Montreal. Remains in bounds. He's got a 4-wall to contend with. Not getting anywhere. There's a cut. Danny B coming back really quick as PETA steps onto the track, bringing him out with a cut. El Nino back on the track, hoping to put some points up. He got his initial pass down. This is a scoring pass now.
Very, very cool-headed play by Danny B to force that track cut. 5 points down by El Nino to extend the Anarchy lead by 5. 37 points.
He just put his hands up to his hips to call it off as he looked at the bench for some guidance, and then someone yelled no really loud, and he realized, oh, wait a second, that's right, I was in the penalty box.
Indeed.
But look at that. He just walked through the pack as we were talking for some more points.
El Nino looking for a pass on the outside, gets forced back.
Oh, and there's a cut. Saturday Dave. All these Daves doing some good work this morning.
El Nino sits, and we will have a power start on the next jam, Jonesy.
Some amazing blocker action here, causing quite a few penalties on the jammers, which, there we go. And Naked Alien just sat down. He got a second penalty on his play.
So impressive start. Here we are less than or just 10 minutes in, and we've got, what is this? My math, 65 points already scored by both teams.
I was going to say, no one's on the track. That's suspicious, and it's about to start. Paternostro calling a timeout for Montreal.
Yeah.
They're halfway down. Like they're half the points of what Anarchy's got, so they're probably going to want to regroup and say, okay.
Sure.
But I think one thing that she should be saying is, Jammers, good, you're doing well.
Right.
But blockers, let's keep track of who's out on there and not let them get penalties on our jammers.
Right.
That's what hurt them there. I think that last one, it was going well, and then that cut track after the start pass.
That's the story here in the early going. These two teams fighting for a spot in our first qualifying game later today.
Yes.
Philadelphia Hooligans have punched their ticket into that particular bout. The winner of that will be one of the qualifiers that comes out of this North American qualifier for the Men's Roller Derby Association Championships in Wales later this year. So a lot at stake here in this game, and today is full of games of that type. So I'm excited that we get to kick things off, but it's going to be a full day of Derby.
When I'm not on call, I'll be sitting there watching.
Yeah,
obviously.
exactly.
I mean, there's a lot to see today. A lot of people, of course, friends with a lot of these people, and it's just fun, knowing what this leads to.
Exactly.
This is fun.
Indeed.
This is great stuff.
If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. If you've just joined us, then you've missed a lot. But here we stand, 45 for Austin Anarchy, 21 for Montreal, and a power start right now for the Montreal Montrolls in red, Anarchy in white.
Oh, look at that sweep. Viking size going right into the pack, but the rest of his team coming on the inside, sweeping everybody. Sadly, I think a little bit of timing was off. It didn't work, but now, come turn 2, he has pushed his way through and is out for lead on this jam.
Quickly around the track, in position now to score. Anarchy trying hard to push him out, and yes, the block by Antrax forces back Viking size.
If you get a chance on the feed, watch Viking size. He can ride that line so tightly that he'll get hit and remain inbounds. He's now through the pack, of course, after taking a couple hits, but keep an eye on his feet. He's pretty slick.
Recovered quickly, picked up 5, but El Nino now on the track for Anarchy, completing his initial pass.
And Viking pushing his way through. He's going to try to outrun. He's very aware. One thing I noticed yesterday with Viking size, very aware of where the other jammer is. Very keen to calling it off. Hitting it and quitting it was a lot of stuff that Montreal did. And it looks like we have a timeout now from Austin.
Yeah, that timeout by Montreal a moment ago really made a big difference. 9 points in this jam to close the differential to 15 points, 45-30 at the 19-minute, 13-second mark here in the first period.
So yeah, a little breather. Austin's like, okay, whoa. They regrouped.
Suddenly things started happening.
Done that as well.
Yeah.
Let's catch our breath. Let's do this and stuff like that. Yeah, Montreal's not even huddling up on this one. That's how confident they felt coming out of that last timeout.
As we get back to the track, it will be Sonic Boom jamming for Austin Anarchy. Juppercut is the holder of the star for Montreal. 19 minutes, 13 seconds, as you can see on the clock, as this team timeout comes to a close. So, Jonesy, Montreal has already played. Is this their third game, I believe?
Yeah, everybody played twice yesterday, except the Hooligans, if I'm not mistaken.
And except for Austin. So Austin.
Oh, that's right. They played in the morning and then had the whole day to just chill out in Vancouver and see the sights.
Well, and I find it's interesting you say that, and I know how you mean that, but they actually stuck around. They were here pretty much the entire day.
To be honest, if I recall the calls last night, I called it 5 o'clock. I mean, the people in the stands were, of course, as typical Derby people, and they were there. They were encouraging. They were oohing and awing as plays happened. I mean, we're all one big family, even if we're playing against each other.
Well, right now it is Sonic Boom who is oohing and eyeing the crowd because he made a pass quickly to get lead jammer and picked up 4, called it off, and just like that, we're done with this jam.
And and the family love, of course, takes a break while you go onto the track and play against your family.
Indeed.
And that's what's out there right now. So we're going to have Sharknado's going to line up against Lukeness Monster for this next jam. 1 in the box. I think this penalty box is being constantly populated since the beginning. As one leaves, one comes in.
Yes.
Danny B and PETA getting ready to join the rest of their team out there as soon as they finish their penalties. And on the track, of course, both jammers getting into the pack and pushing hard.
Pushing is Sharknado and Lukeness Monster for their respective teams. Nice job on the backside by Vicious and Antrax, slowing down the progress of number 42, Lukeness Monster. Sharknado pushing forward against one more blocker for Montreal and is the lead jammer.
That's Saturday, of course, with his new skids on the block S1 helmet that he's got rocking there. I'm kind of jealous of that. Representing the other Montreal team on the track this weekend. And Lukeness Monster has a tendency to kind of pull back, but almost a little too far, which gives the blockers a chance to reset. And he goes at it again, gets knocked out and recycled. No success. The jam comes to an end.
5 points on the board for Austin Anarchy, 54 for their total, 30 for Montreal. Montreal seeming on the verge of a little bit of an explosion. They just need to get these blocker situations fixed up, and they have the opportunity to really be explosive.
What I'm seeing right now this morning, of course, correlation doesn't equal causation, but whoever takes the timeout seems to have a good punch right after
right
that,
afterwards.
and that's what's happening. So Austin took the last one, so now they are in the oomph on the track. And to the track, you've got Viking-sized and El Nino.
Strong walls being displayed by both teams. Montreal absolutely dominated a 3-wall scenario, but loses a blocker to the penalty box as the Rev sits down.
The Rev is a key blocker. He is a solid individual.
But once again, Viking Size picks up the lead jammer call, Jonesy, for Montreal. Il Nino hot in pursuit.
You look at Viking Size's size, and you go, But he's got such a height to him that when he tabletops down to push, he has so much power behind himself, and he leans in like just this big tree and just goes through. And then as soon as he gets that opening, he's got the height to just take 3 steps and be out of the pack.
When you layer the speed that he has into that, he's just a formidable player. But right now we are getting set to
jumper cut.
Yep, and a sonic boom for our next jam here as we approach the halfway point of this first period.
The Rev getting ready to go join his teammates out there. Jumper cut getting knocked to the outside as Sonic Boom makes his way out of the pack with lead.
Key blocking there by Bruce Payne and company. Slowed down Jumper Cut, who himself is very nimble, but really having a problem with these Anarchy blockers.
Sonic Boom getting knocked to the inside, and PETA was the one that knocked him out, and of course the blockers attempted to get rid of PETA so that he could come back out. Wasn't the case. PETA ended up actually getting a star pass.
And the remaining blockers doing a great job of drawing back Sonic Boom, preventing any more damage from being done. Credit to the Rev and his teammates. And great stop there on the part of Montreal to prevent too much damage from happening.
Exactly, and that's what ended up with the call-off, is the fact that PETA had made it out with the star pass.
And Jonesy, unless my eyes deceive me, I believe we're seeing Red for the first time jamming for Montreal.
Red is a secret weapon. They don't tend to pull him out.
Well, don't tell people then.
I mean, I don't know who Red is. He looks like a new jammer. He may not know what he's doing even. Oh, this happened last night. So while we're looking at this, Rev last night knocked out one of the jammers, pulled him all the way back for an Eat the Baby, ended up getting eaten himself.
Oh, goodness.
It was quite the hiccup and caused quite a bit of discussion amongst the refs and challenge afterwards.
Well, right now he is doing well. Picking up lead jammer for Montreal is Red. Sharknado has cleared the pack, but is about a half-track distance behind Red, who's now engaged with the Anarchy blockers.
I'm hearing a little bit of frustration coming out of the Austin bench there, yelling out defense, defense, defense. Coach did not look impressed with what was happening there. Montreal pulls 4 points out of that jam.
Yeah, beautiful pass there by Red. He got that Anarchy wall extended and just flipped through on the inside. So beautiful work done by Montreal. 14 minutes and change, just under 14 minutes, I should say, as we now sit at 61 for Austin Anarchy and 34 for Montreal.
That spreads. I mean, it's nothing huge, but it's, you know, let's cut that spread, I'm sure is what Montreal is saying, and that's what I think they're going to try to do, but that's not going to happen if Il Nino keeps getting lead.
Il Nino, a powerful jammer, and now the Montreal blockers are spread out down to a 2-wall on the backside.
Viking Size coming into the penalty box with a low block. There was a whole tripping action that happened over there. He sits down. It will be a 30-second or less penalty. Power jam Il Nino.
Il Nino now is on the attack. A 4-wall on the backside by Montreal. Slows him down momentarily. Anarchy blockers waiting up front to see what his approach will be. Antrax in to help out, trying to open up that inside line. And Il Nino pushes through.
Go. King Size getting ready to come out of the penalty box, and Il Nino locks him down in there. So we will have a power start for Austin on the next jam. Viking Size, though, rested and ready to come out. And he explodes out of that penalty box.
He does.
Of course, he doesn't accelerate until he gets to the track, because that's a penalty.
Right.
But yeah, wait for it.
10-point jam for Austin Anarchy. Montreal
needs points.
Getting set. Yeah.
I think they leave it, make it basic. Montreal needs points.
4-on-4 action from a blocker standpoint. Viking Size now back on the track. Sonic Boom pushing against the front portion of the Montreal wall. 3-wall and done. Sonic Boom lead jammer for Austin Anarchy.
And there's Viking Size just stepping through. The Montreal blockers came back, caused some confusion. Viking Size is out. Sonic Boom probably going to get through, hit it, and call the jam. And that's exactly what happens. I think he picked up a couple points. 3 on his way through.
Huge hit forcing that call off as Sonic Boom was sent flying, but call that jam off in time, and here we are. So can't deny the power of the Montreal blockers. They have done an amazing job here in keeping things relatively close. I know it's a 40-point differential, but you and I both know, Jonesy, that is not a safe lead.
Point. That's nothing. So if you look at the top right of your screen, you've got underneath the time clock, you've got the hooligans all sitting over there. They've got a few cheers. They're cheering on both teams and entertaining. Saturday has a big fan base in there, and they have a whole chant that they use for Saturday.
Right now, it is Jumper Cut. It's working against an Austin Anarchy four-wall. In to get some help, but goes down hard. Sharknado picking up lead jammer for Austin Anarchy.
Wasn't too worried about him going down hard. It was the player falling on top of him. He kind of paused for a second. I was like, please, no ankles. And there we go. This pack has sped right up. Sharknado getting into there. He's probably going to try to get some points and then call this off. Exactly. Jumper Cut was just like 10 meters too far.
I'm not going to call you a prophet, but you made that look really easy, figuring what was going to happen. But, hey, we've been around. We know what's going to happen. Exactly.
Come on,
so
this isn't our first
it's
roller
smart derby
game.
being played by both teams.
Oh, yeah.
Sharknado, seeing the frenetic nature of the pace, got through, called it off, and said, let's try this one again.
Okay, El Nino now lining up with Viking size. Full blocking line for both teams. The empty penalty box signifies that to us. And here we go.
Pack at almost a dead stop. El Nino pushing. And
El Nino with lots of strength to push. We're going to have a bridging issue here if they don't stop soon.
Viking size nicely done to maneuver through that Anarchy wall. And El Nino picks up a forearm penalty. Power jam Montreal.
That's exactly what Montreal needs right now. Hopefully their offense, they've got the Rev out there. That's a very good kingpin when it comes down to taking care of the track. They're going to stop. They're going to let Viking push the distance. Buddy Ollie coming in doing a little offense. And Viking through the pack.
You almost start to pay too much attention to the Rev, and Buddy Ollie does a great job of sneaking in and taking the blockers
baited the blockers. Ollie went in and swept them. Look, now they're moving. And they don't need to be because no one has challenged them. They're anticipating the Rev coming in. There's Viking size, big open door, and he's through. El Nino back to the track. Montreal reacting, getting together, but El Nino goes down, not out. He put one hand down, stayed in bounds. That's good work on his part.
That was his initial pass, so Viking size still got some time to work. Danny B anchoring to 3-1 on the front side with Bruce Payne and Todd-O-Matic. Viking size is through.
Picked up one, he picked up two.
And there was a forearm penalty at the tail end of that jam that will send the ref to the penalty box. So we are at 8 minutes, 40 seconds. The clock is moving. 47 on the board for Montreal, 80 for Austin Anarchy.
13-point jam. That's exactly what they needed.
Really was. And Red looking to add to that total as he is making his second appearance on the line. Facing off against Sonic Boom from Austin Anarchy.
Red getting some coaching tips from the murder skaters that are sitting to our right up here, yelling about use the power of the poutine. He's pushing through, and he is going to do the best he can. Sonic Boom not getting anywhere there. Now Montreal's got him locked up and out to the inside.
Anarchy
now there's a spot. Oh!
Anarchy doing the same.
Todd-O-Matic opened a little spot for him to get through, but wasn't successful.
Red picking up lead jammer for the Montreal squad. So now looking to add points to their total here. Wanting to swing the momentum in Montreal's favor in these last few minutes.
There's a little slippery spot right where Red just went down. That happened several times yesterday. Even Red himself went down there and actually ended up with a low block sliding into somebody. But Red pushing through, jumping the line, staying in bounds, getting through, and he is out of the pack. He's calling it with Sonic Boom right behind him.
Lots of hard work in that jam. 5 points the result for Montreal. 52 on the board, 80 for Austin Anarchy as a timeout is called by Austin Anarchy. So
I think that the energy level is not making Coach Spanks too happy right now. I think she wants to regroup them.
Settle things down.
She's yelling from the bench, the defense. Let's go, guys. Come on, wake up.
Right.
I mean, they've got the lead, but obviously she wants a much more comfortable lead. Any coach would.
Of course. And so here we are with the first elimination bout into a qualifying game later today. Philadelphia, as you mentioned, already here to watch. They know what's at stake, and that is one of 2 final spots that remain for the Men's Roller Derby Association Championships that will occur in Wales later this year. What a great international flavor the MRDA has this year, with all 3 tournaments being international.
Also, let's not forget about the other vendors that are here in Vendors Village. I don't know what
So we've got, as you can see on the screen in front of you, the referee just came over to the penalty box, giving White Shark number 300 an in sub. So he now has 2 penalties to hit and serve during this next jam.
That has been the story of the first period to some degree for Montreal, blocker penalties.
And if you look at the, well, you can't see, but the 2 blockers that are in here are the Rev and White Shark. Those are big guys. They're big, important blockers to this team. This could play a factor now with only 2 blockers on the track. Sharknado there. He pushes Buddy Ollie out of the way and says, excuse me, I'm coming through for lead.
Yeah, I can't think of a 2-blocker combo that's going to stop Sharknado every single time, and right now he proves that that's the case with this line, picking up lead jammer.
Saturday coming in to do some offense for his jammer. Ended up getting a back block against one of the Austin players. That puts 3 blockers in the penalty box right now for Montreal. That is definitely not going to help.
Yeah, and also enables Anarchy to put up what is now 10 points on the board for Anarchy.
Juppercut allowed to get through, so at least he's out now on the initial pass. I imagine Sharknado is going to hit it, get his points.
Buddy Ollie with a key hip check there to slow down the progress of Sharknado. The call-off is made.
You know, Buddy Ollie hitting that, and then still 2 blockers in the box. Keep going. But
yeah.
Juppercut was on his way out, and
we do have an official review, but
yep.
Jonesy, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We have an official review being called by Austin, and so we'll let that play out.
Del from Hell will come over and
Yes.
tell us what went down, if he remembers.
Absolutely.
So it's nice of him to come over and offer that up. Because sometimes we just look at the track and go, I don't know.
Until that time, I'd like to make a comment, as I've been doing, about this beautiful venue that we're in. Second time for me here in Canada to call Derby, and you obviously have done it a few times. So here in this
Canada,
country,
but
yes.
second time in this venue for me because I was a photographer during playoffs for D1 last year.
Right.
I was.
It's a wonderful venue, the Richmond Olympic Oval, and just one of those buildings that when you walk in, you just get a sense of what a great sports venue it is. Every single inch of this place just screams sports, and it's been great, and we've been hosted very well.
I'm going to see if I can get Lodge up there to pan the venue real quick with the camera. Hey, Lodge, can you pan the venue with the camera? He's standing right above us. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, so they paid attention. And it's a wonderful venue, as you guys can see with this pan. And right beyond those great curtains on the right side is a beautiful view of Vancouver, mountains in the background. And you can't see it from where you are, but I can tell you Vancouver is a beautiful, beautiful place. And we are having a great time here.
Yeah, we don't have headsets or any production crew, so it is yelling up to the camera guy, hey, pan the venue. So it's beautiful. Yeah, it's crazy. It's gorgeous. And these stands, as any of you that saw during the D1 playoffs, are mobile. And we had the Del from Hell is here.
Oh. All right. So it is not an official review. It is an official timeout. The issue is track maintenance, a safety issue. So
I want to say with that broom there, it's probably those slippery spots that I was talking about because they are coming by to clean the junk up off the track.
Yeah, and we talk about this a lot, and it's always worth talking about, and that is the efficiency and the absolute amazing work that's being done this week by our officials. Non-skating officials and referees alike have just been stellar, as these crews are some of the best in the sport.
And the volunteers. The volunteers that are here from Mainland Misfits, Vancouver Murder, and everybody that put this production together have been doing a great job. They've got all the stuff set up, the team rooms in the back. Just there hasn't been anything to go, oh gosh, they forgot this. It's been great, and they've been wonderful all weekend so far.
Indeed. For those of you joining us online, thank you so much for being here with us. It is Austin Anarchy taking on Montreal Royals for a spot in the first qualifying bout later today. Want to say thank you to those who are helping this event become possible. Nerd Roller Skates is here But if you're not, make sure you check them out at nerdskates.com, as they have everything you need for roller derby and beyond. Nerd roller skates for people who roll. Jonesy, I think we're ready to get back to the action.
There we go. And on the line, we've got Viking Size lining up with El Nino, I think. If I look at the bench, I don't see him sitting there. I could be wrong. That is right.
It is El Nino.
And he is through for lead for Austin.
Viking Size looking for a pass on the inside and is through, completing his initial pass.
El Nino in hard against Saturdave rather. Saturdave slowing him down for just a second. He gets through. He calls it off as Viking Size comes to the back of the pack.
Under 6 minutes remaining here in the first period of this first game of day 2. And already we have seen just fireworks from these two teams. Hard hits, great strategic play, and at this point, Anarchy in the lead, 94-52.
42-point spread here. Red out on the track, hoping to chip away at that. That's what, of course, any Montreal Jammer would be looking for.
He's had some success, and so he's one to watch. Red now facing off against Sonic Boom.
Red having a rough time on his feet, trips up as he tries to get back in. Saturday there to help him with a little bit of offense. Meanwhile, Sonic Boom locked down by the Montreal blocking line. Red now up at the front, takes the hit, gets out, gets lead, and now only has one blocker to contend with, and he is out of the pack. Sonic Boom now splitting the Montreal defense and getting out himself, so it's going to be a race.
It really is, as Red, I'm not sure if he sees, barely called it.
He tried to call it, but he was getting a penalty, so they ignored his call off. And Sonic Boom jumped that apex at the last second to try to get those points. Got them, but has been knocked out and recycled. So Power Jam Austin, Sonic Boom out on his own, getting recycled repeatedly now by the Montreal blocking line.
That's the thing that I'm noticing. Once Montreal figures out how to read a particular jammer, at least within a jam, they keep forcing you back.
Paternostro doing it once again. That's the third knockout and recycle that they've done on Sonic Boom, and once again, they get him to the line, they get him to step, and then they let him drop in, and he has to recycle.
Yeah, Sonic Boom with the star in hand.
It's a beautifully executed penalty kill. Red's back on the track and through and out. So we're back at where we were before the penalty.
Right before the penalty. So 4 more points go up for Montreal, courtesy of Red. Great support by his blockers to keep Sonic Boom from putting any points on the board during this jam.
Star pass executed. Danny B taking it. Red going into a blocking mode, knocks him out. Lets him get eaten back up, but then he's back on the track.
Red now engaging as Danny B has put up 5 points.
Red's not going to let him get points. Actually, Red has no choice to let him get points, but the time ran out on the clock, almost in Red's favor, as Danny B was coming into the pack.
9-5 jam for Montreal, taking them to 61, 3 minutes, 13 seconds. The clock is moving as we set up our next jam, which will feature Sharknado for Austin Anarchy facing off
against Jumper Cut for Montreal. Montreal needs to keep those numbers on the left-hand side going up, and the ones on the right steady.
Indeed.
That's what they're hoping for. I mean, that's common sense, but you can see their frustration. You can hear them talking on the bench. Jumper Cut out at the front of the pack, dealing with 2-3 blockers and a power jam.
Tautomatic Vicious and Antrax are the blockers of note, slowing down Jumper Cut, who has an opportunity here for a power jam.
I don't know if he knows it yet. I heard someone yell it, but I think he was a little occupied trying to get out of the front of the pack, that I don't think he's realized that he's on a power jam. And it seems the team, there we go.
Losing a blocker is Anarchy. That is Antrax that will sit for 30.
Okay, Sharknado standing and ready to leave the penalty box as Jumper Cut comes in finally for some points. Sharknado, though, on his initial still.
Right.
Trips up on that track. Oh, no. Trips up on the track, hits the back of the player, picks up a low block. Power jam again, Montreal, but Jumper Cut is coming in himself.
Track cut is the call on Jumper Cut. So, again, it seems like every time there's circumstances that might favor Montreal, penalties happen. And so But again,
say the refs are against them.
no,
Of course not.
no, we will
But
not say that
that's
at
just
all.
how things work. It's just how things work.
Yeah.
So with that, both jammers have gotten penalties. This jam will go the full 2 minutes. 36 seconds left in the jam. No one has gotten anywhere past the initial pass.
In the infield is Jumper Cut.
There we go.
Putting 4 points on the board is Sharknado for Anarchy.
Jumpercut looks to have passed his helmet cover off, and that's PETA that has it.
PETA, though, having to recycle back after being forced to the infield at the top of turns 1 and 2. Sharknado, meanwhile, puts up 5 more points. Antrex makes another visit to the penalty box. So, again, a lot happening in this jam.
And PETA out of the pack, able to put 5 points on. Actually, he ended up gaining the points that Jumpercut had already gained. But unfortunately for Montreal, this is an 11-5 Austin Anarchy. And we've got somebody already failed out because the penalty box is asking for a sub for somebody that was in the box.
So we are at less than 30 seconds now on the clock as we are getting set for our next jam.
And White Shark is gone. He has made it to 7 penalties before the end of the first half.
That brings us to jamming for Austin. It is Wombo Combo making his first appearance on the jam line for Anarchy, but it is number 42 for Montreal, Lucas Monster, breaking out for lead jam.
Okay, so Wombo Combo, I haven't seen him in action yet. This should be interesting for me to watch. I mean, you obviously know these players.
Wombo
not getting anywhere right now, and Lucas Monster has made his way through and gotten a scoring pass. So
Wombo Combo able to clear after a strong attack by the Montreal blockers. Jam comes to a close, and we are at halftime. And what has been a fantastic bout this morning. We'll wait for the official whistle. 4 more points were signaled for Montreal.
So the NSO there came out to the benches and said, it's over. Has anybody got an official review before I blow this whistle?
Yeah.
Very cool on her part.
So what we're looking at is 110 on the board for Austin Anarchy, 75 for Montreal, Jonesy, and what has been a very physical match. This is by no means decided. We know that.
Jeez, no.
With an entire half to go. But right now, the momentum definitely on the side of Anarchy. Montreal figuring out a few things there in the tail end to maybe adjust during halftime.
Montreal also losing one of their blockers, and as we saw in the rosters, Austin has more than Montreal, and now they have even one more than Montreal. So that could play a factor in the second half. Montreal skaters, though, very interchangeable in positions. A lot
Sure.
of them are blockers and jammers. So there will be a lot of flexibility on that part. They can play people that they might have not put with jammer starts yet and surprise Austin.
We will look to see what happens after the halftime period. We'll be back in just a few minutes here at the Salish C-Slam Day 2 North American Qualifier for the Men's Roller Derby Association. We'll be right back with more Derby action.
In a bit.
Nerd Roller Skates is your dedicated quad roller skate shop in Calgary, Alberta.
Being a nerd is about being really excited and really passionate about a really specific thing. And the thing that we are really excited and passionate about is roller skates.
Nerd Roller Skates, for people who roll.
Welcome back to the second period of Austin Anarchy versus Montreal. In the first game of day 2, I am Piggy Fatness with
G.I. Jones.
Jonesy. It's been a strong first half from both teams here. Montreal taking on Austin Anarchy for a spot in our first qualifier. Some thoughts as we get ready for the first jam here.
Well, I would say Montreal needs to tone down the penalties. I mean, both teams are getting them, but Montreal, it's affecting them.
Yes.
Because obviously, the more blockers you have to stop the opposing team's jammer, the better. To the track, let's see what they do with the second half.
Logic is a wonderful thing, and so right now we will see what the difference is going to be this second half as Montreal sends out Viking Size to jam against Sharknado for Anarchy.
Viking Size pushing at the front, going up against 3 blockers in that wall. Sharknado getting knocked but not out. Rev asking for a cut. He may have actually gotten it. The OPR calling it? No, it was on Saturday that he called the cut. And Sharknado is out with lead. It took a second because the jam ref was watching.
Beautiful apex jump there by Sharknado. Puts up quick 5 points. Viking Size still trying to get out. Vicious and Antrex there to stop his forward momentum.
And the Rev is actually still complaining about that lack of cut as he goes around.
Sharknado comes around facing off against the Rev, who forces him out at the top of turn 2, but Rev picks up a penalty in the meantime. So Sharknado still battling to get through for a scoring pass as he was forced out on the straightaway.
Remember that time about a minute ago where I said Montreal needs to slack down on the penalties? They had 2 in the box just now. 1 is out. Rev is sitting in there by himself.
We will keep an eye on that progress in terms of penalties, but you're right, the impact is evident. 10-0 jam to start us off on jam 1 of period 2 here as Austin Anarchy and Montreal Montreals have really put on an entertaining first game here in Richmond in British Columbia.
And on the line next, we've got Sonic Boom lining up against a Jupper Cut. Montreal with 3 blockers, Austin with 3 blockers, with Danny B about to come out on the track from the penalty box.
Each team with a braced 3-wall to slow down their opposing jammer, and it's Jumpercut who gets out first for lead.
Sonic Boom getting locked down. Red taking him back, but Red getting knocked out by Vicious. Going to be a no pass, no penalty on that one.
Jumpercut battling now against Danny B and Naked Alien. Forced out, has to recycle, but does it quickly.
Oh, no. A call was done. Call off was done, except that as he was doing that, Jumpercut was getting a penalty from the OPR for cutting the track. So I believe we're going to start this next jam with a power start for Austin as Jumpercut goes to the penalty box, which is exactly what Soundguardian is passing on right now to him.
All right, so Jumpercut reports to the penalty box. Antrax with the star for Anarchy.
Antrax is poised and ready to launch from that, and that's exactly what he does. He's got Saturday to deal with. We have a player down, though.
So we will take a moment to get a skater attended to, and we will say thank you to Nerd Roller Skates, one of our sponsors here this weekend, along with Save On Foods. Nerd Roller Skates, everything you need for roller derby and beyond. Free shipping across Canada for orders over $150. Check them out at nerdskates.com or visit their full-service shop in Calgary, Alberta, a very familiar place.
Tell you what, if you come in to visit their shop in Calgary, Alberta, get a hold of me. I got a room you can stay at. You can shop there 2 days in a row. And visit Calgary while you're at it. We got mountains. We got all kinds of stuff. You know, there's even skate leagues there. You can come skate.
Well, and there you go. Nerd Roller Skates for people who roll. Also want to say thank you to Save On Foods. Again, I know we're on stream, but, you know, we have been well taken care of here this weekend.
We've eaten some food.
Yes, we have.
It's been provided by Save On Foods and Cobb's Bread, which is a company up in Canada here. Wonderful bakery.
Yes,
yesterday,
I was about to say.
We were greeted with how many strudels and croissants and everything?
It's as if they wanted to feed into my quest to eat all the carbs possible. And
yeah, I believe that's how I was welcomed yesterday. Welcome to the official and volunteer room. I hope you like
and
carbs.
bakery.
I hope you like carbs, because that's all it was.
Yeah,
there was an apple and a banana there. But yeah, so they've taken care of us. Cobb's Bread and Save On Foods, another local company here in Canada. Do they have Save On Foods down south? I don't know.
No, not that I'm familiar with. And no, it's
overseas.
Right.
And speaking of overseas, shout out to New World Order.
Yes.
I got a little message online about that. There you go. That's done. Check the box. Shout outs.
Well, and qualifying to through the European qualifier.
Yes.
To get into the Men's Roller Derby Association Championships. Yeah, of course, absolutely. That was.
See why they would want to shout out.
Yes.
And now my feed/inbox is gonna just explode with people going, "Hey, can you shout out to my cat Ralph, etc., etc."
Right now, we're going to do a shout out to Buddy Ollie, who got up on his own accord and went back to the bench. So, well taken care of by our medics team here. And we will now get back to the track where Antrax will have a power start.
Circumference taking a quick look at the track where the sweaty derby player was, and they're actually going to pause for a cleaning of the track, which will allow us to actually give a bigger shout out to the medics. The medical staff yesterday quite occupied with the amount of face plants, head smashes, bleeding players, and serious concussion on one of the Derby Denver players that took him off the track completely. They've done a great job.
They really have.
That's always good when you have volunteers you can count on, and the medical staff here has done an amazing job.
Yeah, that's been consistent across all aspects of this event. Big credit to Vancouver Murder for putting together a fantastic event here this weekend. Antrax is jamming for Austin Anarchy, and here we go.
And that's a power start, of course, because Jumper Cut got that penalty at the end of the last jam and was not aware of it. Failure to reform penalty on number 5, Red. He's going to come into the penalty box. That was those are those ones you can prevent. When you hear the no pack, act to it. And Antrax through the pack will get lead.
Again, Montreal down blockers, and so they're going to have to face off against Antrax with 2 blockers. Front side of the pack, Antrax pushes through, gets that shoulder, digs in, and makes the pass. 5 points for Anarchy.
Montreal's going to let this game get out of their hands completely if they don't start avoiding the penalty box and staying. Jumpercut is through the pack now. He's got a chance to put some points on the board. I don't know if Antrax will allow him to do that or not as they make their way back into the pack. He does exactly that. Calls off the jam and says, "No, Montreal, you're not getting anything."
9-0 jam. Antrax and Anarchy, 132-77. Is our score. El Nino now with the star for Anarchy, facing off against number 42, Luke Ness Monster, who we saw jamming quite a bit in the early portion of the first period, and not so much in the second half of that time frame.
I'm trying to remember. I remember him pulling off his helmet cover. I think he might have been the last jammer of that of the first half. We haven't seen him anything yet. Here we go. He's on the track now, and El Nino just says, "You know what? I got no time to hang out here." Takes off out of the pack and gets lead for Austin. So Lucas switching off his helmet cover to Pita. Pita is now your jammer for Montreal. Lucas will work as a bridge instead of a jammer, and El Nino.
Vintage El Nino, we're watching not only exploiting off the line to pick up lead, but just bullying through the 3-wall of Montreal to put up 5 points.
Meanwhile, Pita has not even put the helmet cover on yet. He's finally gathering his composure, getting recycled, and into the pack for that initial pass for Montreal, while El Nino makes his 3rd pass of this jam.
10 quick points by El Nino, and looking for more. We have we indeed will see that, because there is a forearm penalty that's been called on Montreal's Pita, who will report to the penalty box. This is a power jam now for Anarchy.
Of course, El Nino controlling this whole jam. He is lead, and he's on this power jam.
Now, Montreal does have 4 blockers ready to greet him, but here come the Anarchy blockers to create some space for their jammer.
Comes the Danny B sweeping in and knocking some stuff up there. No pack being called. And again, failure to reform penalties that are avoidable being incurred. And El Nino calling off the jam as Pita stands up. So we're going to have a power start with Pita, who of course is not a typical jammer, on the next jam. So that's advantage Austin again.
65 points separates these two teams from, the differential at this point.
Right now.
Still within shooting distance. Right, but it's the pattern we're seeing. It's the inability for Montreal to create momentum because of penalty stops.
If they go with what happened and worked in the first period, maybe we'll see a timeout coming from their bench soon to wake them up, shake them up. But we're only like 7 minutes into the second half, not even 6.5 minutes into the second half. So a timeout right now would not be ideal, but if it makes things work, why not?
Right now what we are seeing is
No lead, though.
No lead, but Sharknado out and scoring.
So Sharknado not needing lead to take advantage of the fact that he can get through the pack, get some points. Scoring pass of 4 as he goes through. PETA, star off, not getting anywhere. His pivot is Red, number 5, who's sitting over there working as a blocker. Red now pushing forward, maybe anticipating a star pass. We will see what happens. PETA way back and reaches through.
Sharknado so solid on his skates. We do have a star pass completed to Red by PETA for Montreal, but Sharknado just powering through the pack.
Sharknado, he didn't, like, Rev took a swing at him, but nothing happened on that pass. He got through without any problems. He's going to try doing it again. Meanwhile, Red is finally in for some points. Sharknado jumping over the Rev, who is on the ground, and then into the pack and through 5 more points for Austin Anarchy. This is starting to become a snowball that is getting bigger and bigger, rolling downhill.
And that snowball is at 18 points so far, and Sharknado looking for more. The ref drawing him back. Sharknado having to reclaim that space that he had already passed, but that's okay. He says, let me just take my time.
He's got 18 points up on 0. Red finally getting in the scoring pass. He might have passed a couple of hips. He might come out of this with 3 or 4 points, depending if he gets through the pack or not. The whistle's about to blow to end the jam.
Still, though, he's tangling. Right, he's tangling against Naked Alien, Speedyrella, Kojo Rising, Antrax, just a slew of blockers that work so well together here with Anarchy.
Antrax picking up a penalty for skating out of bounds. He was anticipating the whistle ending the jam, and he was like, okay, this jam's done, and started leaving before it happened, and actually incurred a penalty for that. Montreal got 4 points in the end on that last jam, but 21 for Austin. That is not the way you win a game.
Sonic Boom now on the line for Anarchy, facing off against Viking Size. Viking Size has made some impact for his team in the first period, so we'll see what he can do here.
I want to say this is his first jam of the second half.
It is.
Let's see how things go. He might have had the first jam, but either way.
Sonic Boom exploding through turn 1, picks up lead jammer. Viking Size right on his tail.
Now Viking Size's height and speed might bring him into the pack. Again, that's that corner I told you. People keep sliding out on it, and Sonic Boom did that exact same thing. Slid out and went, but Viking not able to get in fast enough to pick up any points.
So we will reset. 9 minutes gone in this second period. And we will see Wombo Combo on the jammer line for the second time this game, facing off against Jumper Cut, who we've seen several times throughout the course of this bout.
We have, and we're hoping to see some success for Jumper Cut this time. Well, myself, I might be a little biased.
Did you just show your hand?
Oh, no. Oh, goodness. No, it's always fun to pull for the underdog, and they're underdogged right now.
And with the recovery is Jonesy here on the mic.
Go Derby.
And with lead jammer, we have Jumper Cut.
Wombo Combo through the pack gets a no pass, no penalty, though, so he will not be lead because Jumper Cut already took it.
Wombo Combo quickly around. Jumper Cut knows it's time to call the jam.
Well, he kind of knew after the whole bench panic.
Right. With the gentle coaxing.
You can see I wouldn't say fear, but the panic in Montreal going, oh, crap, that skater is coming around. We better react to this.
Right.
And you know what? 0 points. He had lead and he was there, but Wombo Combo making it out and killing that complete jam where they finally got lead.
Right. Under 20 minutes now. Second period. Red wearing the star for Montreal. And Il Nino lead jammer for Anarchy.
Il Nino powering through. That isn't just a freight train of power as he pushes through. And Red's got the maneuverability, as you can see right now, as he dances around those skaters, gets out of the pack.
Beautifully done.
That's exactly what they need right now. Nino getting to the inside, getting knocked out, sees the jammer, calls off the jam.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it's not 19 minutes of people getting out and calling off the jam because 0-0-0-1, actually. Austin picked up 1 point on that.
Yeah. And, one of the other things I'm looking at, Jonesy, is we have someone like a Red who's out blocking, who's also jamming, and with the blocker penalties being what they are, if I'm a coach, that's kind of nerve-wracking for me.
That happened yesterday. They put a player on as a blocker because he was at 6 penalties, and they fouled out because of the fact that they ended up getting a penalty as a blocker versus jammer.
Yeah,
And,
so we'll continue to keep an eye on that situation. Viking size right now jamming for Montreal, taking on Sonic Boom, who's stuck behind a Montreal 3 wall on the front side of the pack.
There's the Rev helping Viking size through, doing a little bit of offense. Viking does get to the front, Naked Alien not letting him get any further than the front. As Sonic Boom almost makes his way out of the back, but Viking steals that lead. Of course, having lead does not equal having success, and hopefully that's what's going to happen for Viking size, because that's what they need right now.
Yeah, and just as we say that, Viking size eases through on the inside. He's got those long strides, 5 big points, and looking for more is Viking size.
And Sonic Boom out of the pack now, so Viking size is going to be aware of that. This pack might speed up, which is exactly what they need. A little bit of offense happening from Montreal. Viking size through, calls off the jam.
Gets all 4.
Yeah. 8-9-0 jam for Montreal. So
Yeah.
that is what they want to do 10 times in a row right now.
Strong jam by Montreal indeed. Got to give them credit. They really, on all aspects of the game, fired well on that jam. So looking to do it again will be Lucas Monster for Montreal. Antrax back on the line wearing the star.
Oof, that's an 84-point spread right now. Though there's lots of time with 17 minutes to possibly catch back up. We will see what happens.
Antrax pushing forward.
Lucas was going on the outside, but he got clipped and got sent and recycled.
That was done.
Antrax pushes through, pulls an El Nino, and just powers through.
It was Bruce Payne with the key hit that slowed down Lucas Monster, and a track cut now called on Lucas Monster. Power jam, Anarchy, Antrax on the move. Nice job there by Montreal to knock out
Antrax once again.
Antrax and bring him back.
Once again doing it. So now they've got him. They've got him set up. They're waiting for him to come in. And Anarchy slowly backing up to give a little bit of offense. They're going to lock down that blocking line. It's not going to be able to go anywhere. And Antrax is going to step through as he loses blocking offense.
Good recovery, though, by Buddy
Look at
Ollie
that.
and
Yeah,
team.
they reformed. Look, they've done it once again. Another 3. They popped through the pack. Form up as 3. And we're going to get some penalties on Anarchy. A high block or a low block, I can't remember. But
Again, a couple of jams here where we've seen some beautiful work from Montreal. If they can keep this up, they'll have a chance at chipping away at this lead. Some key blocks thrown by Paternostro alongside Buddy Ollie. And again, this is what Montreal needs to start doing more of.
so you can see the officials have done an official review, or they've signaled it, but it hasn't really been whistled. They're going to talk about it. There was a no pass, no penalty signaled by the OPR, but then Guardian gave a cut track penalty to the jammer. Of course, not being in their field of view, we can't see, and we can't go back and look, but I believe an Austin player came back. It might not have been the case. The jam ref might not have seen the OPR doing that, and I believe that's what they're talking about right now. And they were signaling kind of like a little bit of a high block kind of thing. So there might be a couple things they're talking about.
Again, all speculation as we have we're sitting at an official timeout, not to take away what you're saying, but just to make sure that we're clear for those who are watching, it is an official timeout. No OR has been signaled
No, that's right.
at this
Did
point.
I say official review? I might have said
it might have slipped. It might have slipped out. Official timeout is what's being
Words are
signaled.
hard sometimes.
Yeah.
It's Sunday morning. Looks like the reffing staff. Oh.
And so we will see how this plays out. We'll take a moment to say thank you to all of you who are watching us on YouTube.
And you can see in the camera right now, ref talking to both coaches.
Yep. So again, I'm sure we'll get an update from Dell. And until then, again, as I was saying, thank you for joining us. In the red jerseys is Montreal. White jerseys are Austin Anarchy. And so here we have the first of, it's an elimination game for the first qualifying game that will happen later this afternoon. Philadelphia Hooligans have already punched their ticket into that bout. And we will have one of these two teams that we're watching face off against them to claim the first of 2 available spots in the Men's Roller Derby Association Championships that will take place in Wales.
That's right. And those 2 qualifying games, Pacific time here in Vancouver at 1500 hours, which is 3 p.m., and once again at 1700 hours, 5 p.m. Those are your 2 different qualifying games today. Of course, the games before that all working up to that end day finale, if you'd like.
And a extravaganza of Derby shenanigans.
Extravaganza. And
I believe that's
if you
the
have
official.
time to get on a plane or to drive up here, there will be an after party tonight at 8 p.m. To celebrate everything that has happened today. So come on up and join us. If you're enjoying the feed, of course, you've heard it before, you've seen it on the Facebook page, but donations are always accepted, and, you know, support your local Derby leagues. Of course, they're putting this together. It was written in front of me. I believe it was finances at mainlandmisfits.com.
That is correct.
It is on the Facebook page, an event for the page. We're going to get Reese here to put it up on the YouTube, maybe put the email down on the YouTube chat so you can take a look at it, and feel free to click the buttons. Oh, he's going to put an overlay. Excusez-moi.
Excellent.
Very sophisticated YouTube action.
Which gives us an opportunity to say thank you to Reese and those who are helping him, which may be just Reese, but
Yeah, I think he's on his own. And a cat.
he
There's
is
a cat
a big reason why the feed is doing what it's doing. So we want to say thank you to Reese and everyone else involved in getting us
He
online.
hasn't stopped running.
Yeah.
Pretty much since I got here yesterday. He's coming over. He verifies sound levels. He makes sure that stuff's being saved. He gets upset when we tell him that sadly the YouTube denied the video because of music in the background. He sorts that out. He makes sure that things are muted at the right time. And he's going to throw that
all the
overlay
right
on.
people in all the right roles. And
And of course, I said it earlier, I made the mistake of opening the door. I did get a shout out for Ostentatious's cat, Baloops, on the feed. I opened that door and I regret it, but
while
Baloops
we
is a
have
cool
time,
cat.
we're
Baloops is a
okay.
cool cat.
While we have time, we're
hung
okay.
out
But
with him.
yeah, but as much as we love the loops, we're going to get back to the action as Red is ready to jam for Montreal. Sharknado with the star for Anarchy.
And we've got one in the penalty box for Austin. Anarchy, as Red pushes to the front against the 3 blocking line, dances around it, gets lead for Montreal.
Red has been effective jamming, so we'll see what he can do here with the opportunity to score some points. He gets a pass and 4 go up. Rev picking up another penalty. He will sit in the penalty box, so we will see. That is number 7.
You're about to go there,
right.
and the NSOs beat us to it, asking for a sub. The Rev, yes, will have fouled out. That is 2 Montreal players now down. Austin with all their players. This is definitely going to play a factor. However, it did not play a factor in that last jam. 4 points on the board for Montreal.
Indeed. So here we are at 179 for Anarchy, 94. Now, we will see, once the outcome of this bout is decided, the team on the short end will have one more opportunity to play. Right now, though, we're going to finish some business here as Sonic Boom is jamming for Anarchy. And he is facing off against Jumpercut, who is through for lead.
Again, but Sonic Boom making easy work of the Montreal blocking line will hunt him down. Let's see how many points Jumpercut can hit and quit before he gets 2. Oh, ouch.
He gets credit for 3.
Sonic Boom gets 3.
Yes.
Who was in the trail. And he got in fast and got across those bodies. That's that whole thing. As a blocker, you can't be a free point for the
That's
jammers.
why they call him Sonic Boom.
Boom. I'm pretty sure I heard that boom as it happened. And what you were alluding to just now is the fact that, yes, the second place team in this game will end up going up against the Dakota Men's Roller Derby at 1300 local, so 1 p.m. local, and that will be the 6th place game. And on the track, we've got El Nino there, and he is out of the pack with lead.
Viking Size finishes his initial pass just as we say that. So both jammers now looking for points. El Nino makes the pass through the pack very strong, picks up 4 points for Anarchy, and
El
waits.
Nino rounds the apex, looking over, waiting, playing with his food like a mean cat, and then just lets him get close, calls off the jam before any points can be put up by Montreal.
Those mean cats.
I tell you, Baloops is not a mean cat. But, of course, right now it's just killing time, and that's exactly how you add a couple of more seconds on to a jam by delaying the call-off.
Sharknado now ready to face off against Lukeness Monster for Montreal. Sharknado up against the 3-wall of Montreal blockers.
Peter leaving the bench, going to be number 4 in Montreal. going to try to help his jammer out. Lukenes went on his own and got clipped and put to the outside. He's got PETA with him this time. We could see some offense from the Montreal blockers.
Antrax with that big block on Lukenes Monster, now part of a bridge. Bruce Prane working alongside Tatomatic and Danny B.
Beautiful work by Sharknado to dance, to take the hit and stay inbounds, get past everybody. I don't think they saw him coming. And we have lead going to Austin Anarchy and Sharknado on this jam.
Sharknado looking for more and gets it. Puts up 5 on that last pass.
I think the other skaters for the other games are going to walk up to Sharknado and go, what wheels are you using? Because you are not leaving the track. He is just doing some matrix action out there. Puts 5 points on the board, locking down Montreal again to 0. 191 to 96. We are almost 100 points up on the opposing team.
12:05 left on the clock in this first bout of day 2 here at the Salish Sea Slam Men's Roller Derby Association North American Qualifier.
Ask us to say that 3 times fast ever, because that is complicated. On the track now, as the pack moves back into the jammers, it looks like we've got Jumper Cut and Wombo Combo out there with the stars on. Jumper Cut making his way through the pack, picking up lead for Montreal.
Wombo Combo getting recycled back behind Viking size, so this is going to give Jumper Cut an opportunity to put up points. Wombo Combo still stuck behind that Montreal wall, but as soon as I say that, he gets out.
That's how it works. Oh. Points.
We're waiting to see.
Kid Guardian, of course, conferring with the OPR before he throws his points up. 4 points for Montreal on that pass.
So 4-0 jam as Montreal hits the century mark on their point total. 91 points separate these two teams at the 11-minute mark of this game. Sonic Boom on the line with the Jammer Star alongside Red jamming for Montreal.
Of course, Anarchy looking at the fact that they are only 9 points out of the 200 point mark. And Sonic Boom out of the pack first will get lead as Red gets knocked to the outside with a big O from the Anarchy bench.
That's because Antrax just, well, gently tapped him.
Okay, I suppose we could be politically correct and gently tapped him.
I was like, what is the most opposite phrase I can think of for what I just saw? Antrax just doing a number on, and that was Tatomatic with a huge shot on Red as well. So again, Anarchy blockers are just doing a number on the jammers for Montreal.
3 points going to the Anarchy on that pass as the jam is called off before Red can come in and get points, which we've seen and has become the standard right now. 1 in the box. Fred Astaire is sitting there in the penalty box in front of us. Il Nino is on the line for Montreal, ready to jam. Montreal has not fielded, because Paternoster is standing in front of the timer, and we're going to get a timeout, Montreal.
We are under 10 minutes here in this game. Austin Anarchy at 194-100 for the Montreal Montreals. There is on the screen, as you can see, an opportunity for you to help.
Overlay.
Yes, you can help us out with the live stream that you are enjoying with us. You can
Poutine. Reese has gone out and gotten all the best clip art. I feel like I'm back in the 1990s, back in high school, when like, hey, let's use computers. He's got the clip art going there. Finance at mainlandmisfits.com. And at the same time, since we're on a timeout, Nerd Roller Skates, kind of a big shout out to them, one of our sponsors. Everything you need for roller derby and beyond this weekend and in general. They're offering free shipping across Canada to Canadian orders, sadly, only, for any purchases over $150 at nerdskates.com.
So much has gone into putting this event together. And, I want to talk a little bit about Anarchy. They played the first game yesterday.
Yes.
They played a fantastic game, came up 3 points short against the Ray City Rebels. And the Ray City Rebels moved, forward into their games yesterday. What a recovery. They've obviously taken the time to analyze what they did, studied the play of Montreal yesterday, and what we're seeing is a direct result of the hard work that they've put in to get here and also to learn from yesterday's game. So
that's right. Right now, Il Nino out on the track and a Viking size with the Jammer Star. Il Nino's going to get out of the pack first and have lead for Austin as Viking size fights against those lovely Austin blockers that are 4 in a pack and not letting him through. Il Nino stumbles through the pack, but gets out. And that's a scoring pass for him. He'll put 5 points up.
Viking size battling against Florida Freeman. Also out there is Kojo Ryzen, Naked Alien, as that jam comes to a close.
So what you were saying just before this jam started about the analyzing of last, it's really tough to analyze when you lose by 3 points. Obviously, that was a well-balanced game and close. And you know what? It can come down to a jam where somebody didn't call it off hard enough or fast enough, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And I'm sure they look back at that. But yeah, definitely, there was a lot of chance to watch Montreal in action yesterday. And they most likely did. And we see that on the scoreboard right now, 202 to 100.
We have jamming for Montreal. It is Jumper Cut. And getting out first is Sharknado for Anarchy. 1 blocker apiece in the penalty box.
And as you can guess, every penalty matters now for Montreal. Next time the camera pans to the benches, you will notice a big difference between the 2 benches. Montreal down at least 2 players, but also in general, they have less on the bench than Austin does. And through the pack, Sharknado putting 5 points up on the board.
Meanwhile, Jumpercut recycled back, and now behind Vicious, Danny B, Antrax, just a strong, strong line. Every line that Anarchy puts out has really, really worked well together. Montreal still trying to figure out how to break those walls. And again, credit to Montreal for continuing to battle. It's what
they
we
are
have
not letting go, and we have a start pass going over to Peta. Peta now the designated jammer for Montreal. Sharknado's not going to let him get anything. And one thing I've also noticed, along with the fact that that Austin's putting out some great blockers, is that they're learning about the jammers as they're playing.
Sure.
So they know which jammer is more jukey, which jammer is more solid, and they're adapting their play style to lock that down, much to the chagrin of the Montreal team.
Yeah. Montreal sits at 100 points. 7:06 on the clock. Red now jamming for Montreal. Sonic Boom for Austin Anarchy.
And 1 blocker lining up for some offense, as 3 of them are ready to absorb the jammer. Sonic Boom getting not even into the pack yet. Sonic Boom trying to pull a cut track on Red. Was unsuccessful. Red now to the front is going to try to dance through the pack. He gets lead, but he gets reabsorbed.
Yeah, he forced his way through the pack, got the call for lead, but kind of made himself stumble.
He did. He's like I said, he tripped up on his wheels, and but now he dances.
Yeah.
He does a spinorama coming out of the pack. It's all good, except that only got him lead.
Well,
now he needs some points. He needs to do that spinorama through the pack once again. He might get some offense help. I see Viking size coming in to try a sweep. And that is exactly what happened. And he got through the pack. This time he's putting points up. The same spinorama move coming out of that. Just what Montreal needs. Sonic Boom, though, no success at the back. He's removed the star.
Yeah.
And is hoping to pass it, but his team is all up front taking care of Red.
Paternostro working alongside Viking size. And now Naked Alien in to try to help out, but in the meantime, Red is making pass after pass. There was a star pass there by Anarchy, but to no avail. Red calls it off after putting up 10 points.
And you can see the difference between a team that needs the time and a team that has loads of time to spare.
Yep.
He didn't wait. He called it off immediately as soon as that jammer made it out of the pack, because they need more jams. So...
Well, and more jams we will have. Viking Rise now jamming for Montreal, facing off against Il Nino.
With the amount of spare blockers they have, of course, Viking was just out there as a blocker and is now a jammer. He's got Buddy Ollie trying to help him out. Il Nino getting a direction of gameplay as he knocks Viking size out. That will be a power jam for Montreal, which is perfectly timed, I'd say.
Well, Vicious, Danny B, and Tautomatic are looking to prevent the impact of this power jam opportunity for Montreal.
And there's Viking riding that line, as I've mentioned before. Shows us how it's done. Gets out of the pack, gets lead, power jam.
Buddy Ollie with a beautifully placed block to open up that inside lane for Viking size, and now we're going to see what they can do to get points. Here come the Montreal Montrolls.
Swarm but a swarm that is stopped because they noticed that Il Nino was
Yeah.
ready to come back on the track. They immediately went, wait a minute, that jammer's getting ready to come out. Viking side's getting knocked out at the front, and he is going to get recycled all the way back. Danny B, sitting way back here, has pulled Viking from just past turn 2 all the way back to before turn 1,
Yeah.
and forcing a call off.
It's like
Beautiful.
anything else. There might have been more points except for that
Defense.
that beautiful penalty kill that Austin put together. So
They got 5 though.
they
But
did.
still,
they
they
did.
could have had
But it
more.
was the time that became more important in that regard.
Exactly, and that is key right now. That is what is going to make or break this, is the time, and time management and clock management. So much fun, and it looks like PETA and Paternoster are out there and ready for a timeout for Montreal.
So that brings it to 3 minutes 50 seconds on the clock of what has been a hard-hitting bout on both sides. I mean, where we stand in terms of where we're calling from, Jonesy, I mean, we're right on top of the track.
We are.
And I know we talk about these things whenever we announce, but I love this proximity. I love the ability to not only hear the action on the track, but also, you know, we get kind of a bit of a glimpse as to the mood of the benches,
Exactly.
the
You-
vibe, so to speak, of what's out there.
You can
And
hear the coaches and their tone of voice and how they're acting and reacting,
Right.
and the assistants on the benches. And you can see a little bit of the morale and stuff like that of the players. I mean,
Sure.
you can see how the benches are set up and what the mood is. And it's kind of fun. And the game is great. It's great to watch the teams grow as they progress through the game, as they realize what they have to do to stop
Right.
the opposing jammers.
It's again, credit to these teams for getting to this point, for continuing to battle. Still so much action left to go, as we have 5 full games here today of what will be or what already is a historic weekend. First North American qualifier for the Men's Roller Derby Association.
Okay, and on the line, we've got Wombo Combo lining up against Luke Monster. Luke Monster seems to have taken a break on the jamming side, maybe due to penalties, and he is back out there hoping to have some success, I guess.
Nicodelian picks up an elbow and heads to the penalty box. And here we go, Luke Monster.
Success.
Oh,
He
track cut.
has. No, he doesn't.
It's almost as if the Derby goddesses and gods are.
Oh, and red 5 goes, and slowly we are watching Montreal fill the penalty box. Wombo Combo is out of the pack, and he will have lead for this jam.
Our
Austin
jam
with
still going as well, so
3 blockers out there. Wombo Combo getting clipped by Buddy Ollie, but not sent out, and he leans in and steps around PETA and makes his way through for 5 points.
Anarchy had been separating Buddy Ollie, who they know is an effective blocker, out of the mix.
Luke Monster came right out of the penalty box with the star off. The bench yelled jammer, jammer, jammer. Nobody knew who they were looking for. That played out very well for him. Sadly, no points, but it got him through the pack.
It made for an entertaining moment for sure. 2 minutes, 33 seconds. Austin Anarchy trying to put the last finishing touches on what looks to be a victory to advance against the Philadelphia Hooligans in qualifier number 1. There is a timeout being called by Anarchy. So if the bracket holds, if the score holds, we will see Austin Anarchy advance to take on the Philadelphia Hooligans in the first of 2 qualifying bouts later today, 3 p.m. local time. For those watching in Texas, that will be 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So,
And Montreal will go on to play Game 9 against the Dakota Men's Roller Derby at 1 p.m. local for the 6th place.
yep. Big thank you to all of you who are watching with us on YouTube. We appreciate you being with us to watch the action from today's games.
So as you saw, a red 5 came over. Montreal, of course, being in close proximity to Ottawa, have combined teams to make this Montreal roller team. And the Ottawa Slaughter Squad is actually who are out there on the track right now. So, I mean, it's Montreal Roller Derby.
Right.
But because of proximity and because of men's roller derby not having that huge amount of selection of teams, especially up in Canada, we've only got half a dozen or so teams, if that. Yeah, so that's Ottawa out there right now, but it's really Montreal. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Or vice
all
versa.
right. So there was a official review being signaled towards the later end of that time by the jam timer, but not quite sure what occurred there.
Doesn't look like it happened. So
yeah.
on the track, we are back in action. Jumper Cut is out of the pack first with lead. Sharknado at the back of the Montreal blocking line. Almost stays in bounds, but goes. Looks like we've got penalties being issued out to Tautomatic. Penalty issued, and Montreal is now in for a scoring pass with Jumper Cut dealing with the two Austin blockers. Does he pick up all the points? No, he only picks up 3.
Minute 49 separates the Austin Anarchy from a trip into qualifying bout number 1.
As does over 100 points. So the chance of this comeback is slim, or I would almost say impossible, but you know, nothing's ever impossible. Okay, maybe.
I love the optimism, I really do. And it's part of what we do to make sure that we are fair on both sides. And I tell you, I have enjoyed watching Montreal play. They have really played hard.
They have.
The roster being what it is, penalties and such, and Viking size, that type of game play is what I like, and he has been impressive.
He jumped that apex, got lead, but El Nino snuck through, and now he is hunting him down. Let's see if he hits the points and calls it. Here's 1. He tries for 1. Does he get the 1? No.
No, he doesn't get 1 point. 2 points being signaled for Anarchy, though.
Okay. Yes.
Clock still moving. 45 seconds in red. It takes the star for Montreal. Sonic Boom on the track as well in what could potentially be the final jam of this game.
You can see in the right on your camera, Austin's team, of course, getting together, arm in arm, ready to watch this happen as Montreal has accepted its fate, and Red is still out there, though. He's going to try to affect things. He is unable to get lead. Sonic Boom is out of the pack first. We'll see how the clock play goes here. Sonic Boom not slacking off, getting back into the pack, adding more.
Red does complete the initial pass.
And Red making a hand signal of safe. He has made his way through the pack, though, and will be out of the pack first. Gets the points. Clock runs out. Sonic Boom calls off the jam. Montreal will have put 4 points on in the last jam as Austin puts 3 on, and we are at an end.
Yeah, very strong gameplay by Austin Anarchy. And there's the whistle, as you can hear. Austin Anarchy does advance into the qualifying bout that will occur at 3 p.m. local time, 5 p.m. Central time, to face off against the Philadelphia Hooligans, who Jonesy looked very impressive yesterday in their win to get to this position. They are the number 1 seed of the tournament, and thus this will be a very interesting matchup. Credit to Montreal. Very hard-fought battle all the way through. Brilliant moments here and there, but it came down to penalties and losing blockers.
Numbers of, yeah, exactly. Numbers of skaters. I mean, you just can't play a game and win most of the time with only a skeleton crew. That is fact. And that's what affected them. And but still, it was only a 104-point spread. So not that bad.
We will see them once again, 1 p.m. local time, facing off against Dakota. The Norsemen will have their hands full.
That is a lot of beard action going there.
The Norsemen will take a lot to Montreal. So that will be a really fun matchup. Make sure you stay with us to watch that. Right now, though, Austin Anarchy taking their victory lap as they have punched their ticket into the first of 2 qualifying games. Jonesy, it has been an absolute blast calling with you and enjoying this bout.
Calling with you. And that is it for us. We're going to move on. Your next game should be in about 23 minutes. It will be between is that Race City?
Yes, it is. Right. Race City Rebels will be taking on Minnesota.
Roller derby.
The Twin City Terrors will be on the track. So a lot more action left to go. On behalf of all of us here at the Salish Sea Slam, we say thank you, and we say come on back for more roller derby action.
Talk to you later.